Let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered why some women seem to have this magnetic pull over men, while others fade into the background despite their best efforts? Is it luck, beauty, or timing? The truth is, it's none of those. It's a psychological dance, a subtle game of intrigue and unpredictability. Most of us stumble through relationships, falling into common traps of being too predictable, too eager, or too accommodating, thinking these things will make him stay. But what if I told you these behaviors are exactly what push him away? We're here to flip the script. Today we'll explore 6 powerful principles of reverse psychology that will completely redefine how you connect with men. These are not surface-level tricks. They're rooted in human nature, designed to create genuine attraction and emotional depth. Each one has the power to make him crave you, not just for a moment, but endlessly. So, what are you doing wrong? Chances are you're too available, too obvious, or too emotionally dependent. This guide will show you how to break free from those habits and create a dynamic where he sees you, not just as a person he desires, but as the stoic love he can't live without. A steady, fascinating force that shapes his emotions and commands his respect. The solutions we'll dive into aren't just about making him think about you. They're about making him feel a need for you in his life. You'll learn how to prioritize your goals, exude unshakable confidence, and use your absence and mystery to capture his attention. These principles align with the art of Stoicism, teaching you how to maintain control over your emotions while creating an irresistible allure. Are you ready to become the woman who turns heads and lingers in his thoughts long after you've left the room? Let's begin with the first principle, and trust me, you'll never look at relationships the same way again. 1. Prioritize your goals and ambitions. What's more captivating than a woman who knows her worth and isn't afraid to pursue her dreams? Let's paint the picture. You're out there building your career, traveling to places that light up your soul, and chasing after your passion with the kind of determination that turns heads. Do you think a man wouldn't notice? He absolutely will. Here's the thing. When your life revolves around him, you stop being a mystery. You become predictable, and predictability is the quickest way to extinguish attraction. Men are naturally drawn to women who live for something bigger than the relationship. This is why prioritizing your goals and ambitions is the ultimate power move. It signals to him that you're not just a partner, you're a whole world he'll want to be part of. Imagine this scenario. He calls you for an impromptu dinner date, but you're in the middle of finalizing a business pitch. Instead of dropping everything to meet him, you say, "I'd love to, but tonight's not great." How about Thursday? You've just done something monumental. You've shown him that your time is valuable and that your life doesn't revolve around him. This small act stirs something deep within his psyche. Admiration. Ambition creates scarcity, and scarcity creates value. The less available you are, the more he'll crave your presence. It's not about playing games, it's about genuinely being invested in your own growth. Your passions and goals make you interesting, giving him something to admire, respect, and chase. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Does this mean neglecting the relationship? Absolutely not. In fact, prioritizing your goals enhances the relationship. It creates a dynamic where you're seen as a partner who's driven and independent, a stoic love who embodies both strength and allure. Here's another layer. When you focus on your ambitions, you naturally exude confidence. Confidence is intoxicating. It's the kind of energy that radiates without effort, making him see you as someone he wants to align with, not just for love, but for life. And when you embody this, he'll find himself wondering how he can fit into your world, not the other way around. Ask yourself, are you building a life so vibrant and fulfilling that he feels lucky just to be part of it? Or are you waiting around for his text, his call, his attention? Shift that energy. This principle is not just about personal growth, it's about flipping the traditional narrative. Men are biologically wired to chase, but they chase what's scarce, what's valuable, what's alive. By putting your goals first, you position yourself as someone who's striving for something greater. someone who's building a future he'll want to share. And the beauty of this approach? It naturally weeds out the wrong kind of men, the ones who can't handle a woman with purpose, who feel threatened by your independence. Let them go. The right man, the one who truly values you, will not only support your ambitions, but will also feel inspired by them. If you take one thing from this principle, let it be this. Your ambitions are not just your own. They're your superpower in creating a life and relationship that feels authentic, empowering, and irresistible. As we transition into the next principle, think about this. What would your life look like if you became the kind of woman who puts her dreams above fleeting pleasures? Would he chase you harder, respect you more? You already know the answer. 2. Be confident around other women. Confidence is magnetic. It's the kind of energy that speaks before you do, that commands attention without trying, and that lingers in a man's mind long after the moment has passed. Yet one of the biggest tests of confidence comes when other women enter the picture. How you respond to this can either make or break the dynamic between you and him. Imagine this. You're out with him, and another woman, a friend, colleague, or even a stranger, starts engaging him in conversation. How do you react? Do you tense up, subtly try to pull his attention back to you, or let jealousy show in your tone? Let me tell you, the most attractive response in this situation is none of the above. It's staying calm, poised, and utterly unbothered. Why? Because jealousy signals insecurity, and insecurity is the opposite of the stoic love you want to embody. A love that is self-assured, composed, and deeply rooted in self-worth. Men are naturally drawn to women who exude confidence, especially in situations that might make others falter. Your reaction when other women are around is a golden opportunity to showcase that confidence. Let's dive deeper. When you remain unshaken by the presence of other women, you're telling him and her that you know your worth. You're silently saying, "I'm secure in who I am and what we have." This level of confidence is irresistible because it shifts the power dynamic. Instead of you seeking validation, you become the source of it. Think about it. If he's engaging with another woman and you stay relaxed, even smiling or joining the conversation, what message does that send? It shows him that you're not threatened, that you trust yourself, and that you trust the connection you share with him. This attitude not only sets you apart from others who might overreact, but also strengthens his admiration for you. But let's be clear, this doesn't mean being passive or indifferent. Confidence isn't about ignoring his behavior or pretending you don't care. It's about showing that you're so secure in yourself that no one else can shake your foundation. This is where Stoicism comes into play, a philosophy rooted in emotional resilience and control. By embodying Stoicism, you project an image of strength and calm that leaves a lasting impression. Here's a practical example. Suppose you're at a party and he's chatting with another woman. Instead of interrupting or staring from across the room, take this as a moment to shine in your own right. Engage in another conversation, laugh, and radiate positive energy. When he glances your way, and he will, you'll appear confident and self-assured, someone who's fully at ease in her own skin. Now let's talk about why this works on a psychological level. Men are naturally drawn to challenges. When you remain unfazed by other women, you create a sense of mystery. He starts wondering, why isn't she reacting? Doesn't she care? Or does she trust me so much that she doesn't feel the need to compete? These questions fuel his intrigue and deepen his respect for you. Moreover, this approach taps into a principle known as reactance. When people feel their freedom to choose is being restricted, like when someone becomes overly possessive or jealous, they instinctively pull away. By showing that you're not trying to control him or his interactions, you're giving him the freedom to choose. Ironically, this often leads him to choose you even more firmly. But what if the other woman seems overly interested in him? Should you step in? The answer lies in how you carry yourself. Instead of confronting her or seeking his reassurance, let your confidence do the talking. Maintain your composure and trust that your value speaks for itself. If he's the right man, he'll recognize and respect this. Here's another angle to consider. Confidence is not just about how you handle the presence of other women. It's about how you handle yourself. Are you projecting the kind of energy that makes him proud to stand beside you? Are you living a life so full and vibrant that you don't feel the need to compete with anyone else? When you focus on your own growth, passions, and happiness, you naturally become someone who stands out. Confidence isn't something you wear for him. It's something you cultivate within yourself. It's the result of knowing who you are, what you want, and what you deserve. Now, let's address a common fear. What if staying confident around other women makes him think you don't care? This is where balance comes in. Confidence doesn't mean being distant or aloof. It means being secure in your connection while still showing genuine interest. A warm smile, a light touch on his arm, or a playful comment can remind him that you're there without coming across as needy. Think of this as a subtle dance. You're not chasing his attention. You're holding your own while allowing him to gravitate toward you. And trust me, he will. Before we move on, let's take a moment to reflect. Are you ready to embrace the kind of confidence that makes you stand out, not just to him, but to everyone around you? Can you see how staying composed in these moments creates a dynamic where he can't help but admire you? If you're feeling inspired, like this video and comment number 1 below to let me know you're on board with this journey. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips on becoming the kind of woman he can't resist. As we transition to the next principle, think about this. Confidence is a skill you build, a choice you make every day. When you master it, you don't just become someone he wants, you become someone everyone admires. Control your excitement. Let me ask you something. How often do you find yourself overflowing with excitement when you're about to see him? Maybe your heart races, your smile is wider than usual, and you can't help but let your enthusiasm show. While this energy is natural and genuine, showing too much excitement can sometimes work against you. Why? Because in the game of attraction, less is often more. When you meet someone you're truly interested in, it's tempting to let your emotions pour out like a flood. But here's the twist. Men are wired to crave intrigue. They're captivated by what they can't fully grasp, drawn to women who keep them guessing. If you show all your cards up front, you lose an essential element of allure. Let's break this down. Imagine you're meeting him for a date, and you greet him with overwhelming enthusiasm. "Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see you." While this might seem harmless, it can send a subconscious signal that you're too invested, too eager. Now imagine the alternative. You greet him warmly but calmly, with a relaxed smile and a subtle sparkle in your eye. Your energy says, "I'm happy you're here, but my world doesn't revolve around you." Which version do you think leaves a stronger impression? Men thrive on challenges, and part of that challenge is understanding your emotions. When you keep your excitement balanced, you create a sense of mystery. He'll start to wonder, is she really into me? What's she thinking? These questions stir his curiosity and keep him engaged. Now, this doesn't mean being cold or distant, far from it. The key is to show interest in a way that feels controlled and intentional. Think of it as a slow burn, rather than an explosion. You're letting him feel appreciated without overwhelming him, leaving just enough room for him to lean in and want more. Here's where the psychological magic comes into play. When you dial back your excitement, you tap into the principle of reward uncertainty. It's the same concept that makes slot machines addictive. You're not always predictable in how much attention or emotion you'll give, and that unpredictability keeps him intrigued. He starts looking for those little moments when you let your guard down, cherishing them because they feel earned. Picture this scenario. You're on a date, and he tells you a funny story. Instead of laughing uncontrollably or showering him with praise, you chuckle softly, maybe giving him a playful smirk. That restrained reaction can be far more powerful than an over-the-top response. Why? because it leaves him wanting to dig deeper, to make you laugh harder next time, to figure out what truly excites you. Let's take it a step further. Think about how you respond to his texts or calls. Do you immediately light up, replying within seconds, or do you give yourself a moment to breathe, crafting a thoughtful response? That pause, however small, creates anticipation. It's not about playing games, it's about pacing the emotional rhythm of your interactions. When you control your excitement, you're also controlling the emotional climate of the relationship. You set the tone, showing that while you're happy to be with him, you're not desperate for his attention. This subtle shift in energy is incredibly empowering. It positions you as someone who's confident and self-assured, someone who doesn't need validation to feel complete. But let's address a potential fear. Won't holding back make me seem disinterested? The answer lies in balance. You're not withholding affection. You're offering it in measured doses that feel intentional and meaningful. This approach aligns with the concept of Stoicism, where you maintain control over your emotions while still being warm and engaging. It's a delicate dance, but when done right, it's deeply impactful. Here's a tip to put this into practice. The next time you see him, take a moment to ground yourself before the interaction. Breathe deeply, center your energy, and remind yourself that you're bringing value to the table. When you greet him, let your body language speak volumes. A gentle smile, steady eye contact, and relaxed posture. These non-verbal cues exude confidence and intrigue far more than words ever could. Now, think about the long-term impact of this principle. When you consistently control your excitement, you create a dynamic where he feels the need to work for your attention and affection. He starts to see every compliment, every laugh, and every moment of excitement from you as something special, a reward rather than an expectation. This builds a sense of value in the relationship, where he cherishes your presence because it's never taken for granted. As we wrap up this section, let's reflect. Are you giving away too much too soon? Or are you pacing your energy, creating an environment where he feels challenged, intrigued, and deeply connected? If this resonates with you, like this video and comment number 1 below to show you're ready to take control of your emotional energy. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights on how to become the kind of woman who captivates effortlessly. As we move into the next principle, ask yourself, what would it look like to become the woman he can't stop thinking about, not because you're always available, but because you leave just enough mystery to keep him wanting more? 4. Be unpredictable. Have you ever noticed how your favorite stories or TV shows keep you hooked? It's not because you know exactly what's going to happen next. It's the opposite. The twists, the suspense, the unpredictable moments are what keep you coming back for more. Now imagine applying this principle to your interactions with him. Sounds intriguing, right? Being unpredictable isn't about playing games. It's about keeping the spark alive, tapping into the human brain's natural love for mystery and surprise. Let's face it, predictability is boring. It's like rewatching the same movie over and over. You know every scene, you know the outcome, and eventually you lose interest. The same applies to relationships. If you're always texting back immediately, saying yes to every plan or showing up exactly as expected, he'll subconsciously start taking you for granted. The thrill of the unknown disappears, and with it, his excitement. So, how do you bring unpredictability into your connection without being disingenuous? Let's break it down. Start by shaking up your patterns. If you're usually quick to respond to his messages, take your time occasionally. If you always greet him with the same warm energy, mix it up. Sometimes be enthusiastic, other times more reserved. The key here is variety. Keep him guessing about how you'll react, and he'll naturally lean in to try to figure you out. Think about this. When you're consistent to the point of predictability, you remove any challenge from the dynamic. And let's be honest, men love a challenge. They're drawn to women who keep them on their toes, who make them work just a little harder for their attention and affection. When you're unpredictable, you're engaging his curiosity, which is one of the most powerful tools in attraction. Here's a powerful analogy. Imagine you're a slot machine. People keep pulling the lever because they don't know when the next reward is coming. It's the unpredictability of the outcome that creates addiction. Now translate that concept into your interactions. By being unpredictable, sometimes giving attention and other times pulling back, you create a rhythm that keeps him craving your presence. He won't know what to expect next, and that's exactly what keeps him interested. Let's make this practical. The next time he asks you out, don't immediately say yes. Instead, respond with something like, "That sounds fun. Let me check my schedule and get back to you." This subtle shift shows that you have your own life, your own priorities, and that you're not always readily available. It creates a small sense of anticipation, making him value your time more. But unpredictability isn't just about what you do. It's also about how you make him feel. Men are emotional beings, even if they don't always show it. When you're unpredictable, you create emotional highs and lows that deepen his connection to you. The moments when you're warm and affectionate feel more intense because they're not constant. And when you're slightly distant, he starts missing you, craving your attention even more. Now let's address a common concern. Won't being unpredictable make me seem inconsistent or unreliable? The answer lies in balance. You're not creating chaos, you're adding layers to your interactions. Think of it as a spice. Sprinkle it in just enough to enhance the connection, not overpower it. The goal is to keep things exciting and dynamic, not confusing or stressful. Here's a deeper look at the psychology behind this. Humans are wired to seek novelty. Our brains release dopamine, the feel-good chemical, when we encounter something new or unexpected. By being unpredictable, you're triggering this response in him, making your interactions more stimulating and memorable. He won't just enjoy spending time with you. He'll start looking forward to it, wondering what unique twist you'll bring next. And don't forget about the element of surprise. Small, unexpected gestures can have a big impact. For example, if he's used to you being serious, throw in a playful joke. If you typically follow his lead, suggest a spontaneous adventure. These moments of unpredictability show that you're multidimensional, someone who's always full of surprises. But here's the kicker. Being unpredictable isn't just about how you interact with him, it's about how you live your life. When you're constantly exploring new interests, pursuing fresh goals, and embracing change, you naturally become someone who's impossible to pin down. He'll see you as someone vibrant and dynamic, someone who challenges him to grow and evolve alongside you. Let me give you an example. Imagine he's used to you spending your weekends doing the same routine activities. One weekend, instead of sticking to the usual plan, you tell him you've signed up for a salsa class or decided to go hiking at sunrise. This unpredictability not only keeps things exciting, but also inspires him to view you in a new light, someone who's adventurous and full of life. Now let's tie this back to the idea of Stoic love. Stoicism teaches us to remain calm and adaptable in the face of change, to embrace life's uncertainties with grace. By embodying this mindset, you become someone who's both steady and unpredictable, a rare combination that's incredibly alluring. You're not afraid to shake things up, but you do so with confidence and intention. Before we wrap up, let me ask you this. Are you willing to step outside your comfort zone to keep the spark alive? Can you see how small shifts in your behavior can create big changes in how he perceives you? If this resonates with you, like this video and comment number 1 to let me know you're ready to embrace the power of unpredictability. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights on mastering the art of attraction. As we move to the next principle, think about this. What would it feel like to become the woman he can't stop thinking about? Not because you're always available, but because you're endlessly fascinating. Let's keep going. 5. Use the power of absence. They say absence makes the heart grow fonder. but have you ever truly experienced its magic? There's a certain undeniable allure in being missed. When you strategically step back from someone's life, you're creating a space where they can realize your value, crave your presence, and yearn for your return. The power of absence, when used wisely, can transform the dynamics of any relationship, turning mundane interactions into moments of longing and desire. Think about it. Have you ever been so available to someone that they began to take your presence for granted? It's not that they didn't care, it's just that they didn't have the chance to miss you. When you're always around, always texting, always present, there's no room for anticipation or reflection, and without those moments, attraction can start to dwindle. So how do you master the art of absence without ghosting or creating unnecessary drama? Let's explore this step by step. The first key is timing. Absence should be a deliberate and thoughtful choice, not a reaction or punishment. You're not disappearing out of anger or frustration. You're stepping back to create a moment of pause, a chance for him to feel what life is like without you. This isn't about manipulation. It's about highlighting your value through contrast. Imagine you're always the one initiating conversations, checking in, or planning dates. While your intentions are loving, this pattern can unintentionally make your presence feel predictable. Now picture what happens when you suddenly stop. No texts, no calls, no casual check-ins. At first, he might not notice, but as hours or even 6, become his emotional anchor. Let me ask you something. What makes someone unforgettable? Is it their looks, their charm, or their wit? Sure, those things matter, but what truly stays with someone, what keeps you lingering in their mind, is the emotional impact you leave. When you become the person who understands his inner world better than anyone else, you become irreplaceable. You're not just someone he enjoys spending time with. You're the woman he turns to, the one who makes him feel seen, heard, and supported. Becoming his emotional anchor doesn't mean losing yourself in the process. It's not about being his therapist or carrying the weight of his world on your shoulders. Instead, it's about building a connection so deep and unique that he feels a magnetic pull toward you, a pull he can't find anywhere else. So, how do you become this anchor while still maintaining your independence and individuality? The first step is to truly listen to him, not just to his words, but to what lies beneath them. Men often struggle to open up emotionally, but when they do, it's because they feel safe. Are you creating that space for him? When he talks about his dreams, his fears, or his struggles, are you listening without judgment? When you show that you're genuinely interested in understanding him, you're tapping into a part of him that few others get to see. But here's the secret. You don't need to always agree with him or fix his problems to become his anchor. In fact, the most impactful moments often come from simply being present. Imagine he's had a tough day. Instead of trying to cheer him up with solutions or distractions, what if you just sat with him, offering your quiet support? That kind of presence speaks volumes. It tells him, I'm here for you, no matter what. Now here's where things get interesting. Becoming his emotional anchor isn't just about being there for him. It's about doing so selectively. If you're always available, always the one to offer comfort, it can create a dynamic where your efforts are taken for granted. To avoid this, balance your support with moments where you step back and focus on yourself. This approach not only keeps the connection healthy, but also reinforces the idea that your presence is a privilege, not a given. For instance, if he's going through a tough time and you've been there for him consistently, take a day or two to recharge and focus on your own needs. This doesn't mean abandoning him. It means showing that, while you're supportive, you're also someone with your own life, your own goals, and your own boundaries. This balance of giving and withholding creates a dynamic where he values your support even more. Here's another layer to consider. Emotional anchoring doesn't mean losing sight of your own identity. In fact, the stronger and more centered you are as an individual, the more magnetic you become. This ties back to the concept of Stoic love, where you maintain your emotional resilience while offering steady support. When he sees that you're someone who can stand strong on your own, even while supporting him, It deepens his respect and admiration for you. Let's dive into the psychological side of this. Men, like women, crave emotional connection, but they often express it differently. They're drawn to people who make them feel understood without feeling judged. When you become the person who gets him, who sees beyond his surface and connects with his core, you're creating a bond that's nearly impossible to break. But let's not overlook the importance of emotional independence. Being his anchor doesn't mean becoming his everything. It's about showing him that you're a safe harbor, but also someone who has her own ship to sail. This duality, being supportive yet independent, keeps the relationship balanced and dynamic. Here's a practical example. Suppose he shares something vulnerable, like a fear about his career or a conflict with a friend. Instead of immediately offering advice, ask open-ended questions like, "How does that make you feel?" Or, "What do you think you'll do next?" These questions show that you're not trying to solve his problems, but are genuinely interested in his perspective. It's a subtle but powerful way to deepen the emotional connection. Now, let's talk about creating moments of emotional intimacy. These moments don't always have to be heavy or serious. Sometimes they can be as simple as sharing a laugh over a silly memory, cooking a meal together, or watching a favorite show while cuddled up on the couch. These shared experiences build a foundation of trust and closeness that strengthens the bond between you. But remember, timing is everything. If you try to force emotional intimacy, it can feel inauthentic or even overwhelming. Instead, let these moments unfold naturally. When he feels safe and supported, he'll start to open up more, creating opportunities for deeper connection. As we wrap up, think about this. Are you the person he feels he can turn to when life gets tough? Are you creating a connection that's not just about attraction, but about understanding and support? Becoming his emotional anchor isn't about changing who you are. It's about showing up in a way that feels authentic, steady, and irreplaceable. If this resonates with you, like this video and comment number 1 below to let me know you're ready to build the kind of connection that goes beyond the surface. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights on how to become the woman he can't live without. As we close, reflect on this. What would it feel like to be the person who holds his heart, not by clinging to it, but by offering a love so grounded and authentic that he couldn't imagine life without it? That's the power of becoming his emotional anchor. So, there you have it. The 6 powerful principles of reverse psychology that can make him think about you, crave you, and feel an emotional connection he can't find anywhere else. Let's take a moment to tie everything together. You've learned how to prioritize your goals and ambitions, showing him that your life is full and vibrant without depending on him. You've embraced the confidence to remain unfazed by other women, projecting an unshakable sense of self-worth. You've mastered the art of controlling your excitement, creating a rhythm that keeps him intrigued. You've added the element of unpredictability, keeping the spark alive and building curiosity. You've harnessed the power of absence, letting him feel the value of your presence. And finally, you've become his emotional anchor, the person he trusts and turns to when life feels overwhelming. Each of these principles works together to create a dynamic where you're not just someone he desires. You're someone he respects, admires, and genuinely can't live without. This isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding the psychology of attraction and using it to create a connection that's both deep and lasting. But here's the real magic. Everything you've learned isn't just about him, it's about you. These principles empower you to live with purpose, confidence, and emotional independence. They help you step into your fullest potential, making you magnetic, not just to him, but to everyone around you. When you embody these qualities, you don't just become the woman he can't resist. You become the woman who's proud of her own life, no matter who's in it. As you reflect on these insights, ask yourself, what would your relationships look like if you implemented even just one of these principles? How would it feel to be the kind of woman who exuded self-assurance, curiosity, and strength? You have the tools now. It's time to put them into action. If this video inspired you, like it and comment number 1 below to let me know you're ready to take charge of your love life. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more strategies, insights and tips to unlock the kind of connections you've always dreamed of. Thank you for being here, for investing in yourself, and for stepping into your power. Remember, the journey to becoming unforgettable isn't about perfection. It's about authenticity, growth, and confidence. You've got this. Until next time, stay radiant, stay curious, and most importantly, stay true to you.